What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the BTR podcast.
We got a trade to announce.
We're just going to get right into it. We lied. We have another episode of the year, but it's the first trade of the NBA season. OG Anunoby from your squad, the Toronto Raptors, has been traded to the New York Knicks, same division, the team they have a lawsuit with, which is hilarious. Traded for, coming back home, the best Canadian to play for the Raptors probably, and soon to play for the Raptors, Barret, Immanuel quickly. Other pieces in the trade. So the full trade is OG Anunoby, Malachi Flynn, Precious Achiuwa traded to the New York Knicks as of this morning, Saturday morning, for RJ Barrett, Immanuel quickly, and the Pistons second round pick from this year, which means it's relatively the 31st or 32nd, but who knows? We're recording this after the Raptors
Lost to the Pistons,
ending the Pistons losing streaks. Like, they might go on a hot streak and you might ruin your chances.
28 game winning streak now incoming for the Pistons.
But no, let's just get right into it. A little late to the reaction, obviously. By the time you'll probably see other reactions out there, but it's time to give our thoughts. Our first ever emergency podcast. Raptor fan, your reaction to the trade?
I'm happy. At the end of the day, when I first saw it, I was confused. I was like, whatever. I'm sad to see OG go and all that stuff. But I'm happy that we finally did something. We finally changed the roster. We got younger, right? Like, RJ Barrett is 23. Immanuel quickly is 24. Yes, RJ Barrett is probably the most inconsistent player you ever seen in your life. But when he will get properly developed, which I believe Darko, at the end of the day, he is a player's coach, which is very important to develop players. RJ and quickly could develop under Darko Rajakovic or in the Raptors organization in general.
So, I guess the main reason why you didn't watch Raptors games much, outside of being busy, obviously, was because it's the same over and over. Kind of like what Alex Adams said about the Raiders. He doesn't really want to talk about them because it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like I had a lot of fun watching Raptor games until like last year, mainly
last
this
couple
year.
years, yeah.
Okay, so your reaction trade, you're happy with the trade, or are you happy with the return? Because looking at Raptors Twitter, in general, they're happy that they think they fleeced the Knicks. What are your thoughts on that before I give my reaction?
Fleece, I would say we won. I won't say fleece fully just because
Initially won the trade.
We initially won the trade. Obviously there's gonna be a lot still gotta come down to it. Like, it's because of quickly.
I think it's two things.
It's because of quickly.
I think it's two things, right? It's either people are happy because they got quickly as the main piece, but RJ comes home, also part of it. But people are also upset they maybe didn't get the pick. They more picks out of this because last year's rumored pick was 4 first rounders for OG.
Exactly.
But the difference is, what do you value more? The picks could be busts. We don't know.
Yeah, true.
Whereas you value Immanuel quickly. The reason why the OG trade talks last year did not go down, rumored with Memphis, was because they wanted to add a rotation player or like a piece. Like, I don't know who that piece was. Maybe a Brandon Clark. I don't know. So this time they got RJ Barrett and they got Immanuel quickly, right? And on top of that, you'll have to pay OG Anunoby. He could have walked for nothing. The classic
Raptor thing, yeah.
What you always complained about, you didn't want that to happen.
That is the biggest W.
So the fact that you didn't do like a Goran Dragic type trade, where you're trying to get rid of his contract and give away a first. By the way, Goran Dragic also retired Raptor legend. That's where it's like a W, because here's why I think, this is my reaction to the trade. I don't think it's like necessarily Raptors fleeced them. I get the upset factor of maybe not getting a first, but at the end of the day, it's the 31st or 32nd pick of the draft, so it shouldn't be that bad anyways. I don't know how deep this draft class goes though, so that's the other question mark, because you obviously would rather have the higher pick. But guess what, Raptors fans, you guys used that pick on Jakob Poeltl. So you recuperate. You can't be beggars in this case. You recuperated. However, reason why I think the Raptors initially won this trade, let's talking about the Raptors first, is you took away why Knicks fans think they got fleeced as well, is because that the two main trade pieces for the Knicks that could have been used for a Donovan Mitchell trade or whoever would have been available was used on OG Anunoby, right?
Yeah.
Yes, they kept their picks. They have a bunch of picks. I get that. But usually I react to who is the better player wins the trade. Whoever gets the best player wins the trade. And that's true in a lot of cases. Anthony Davis, for example. You had that in, I guess, initial Paul George, but obviously in hindsight, not the case anymore with Shea. But usually that's the case, right? Kawhi Leonard to the Raptors, so on and so forth. This case, OG isn't like that transcending player. He's on an expiring contract, number one. And then you replace him with two key players. For example, the Raptors did lose. OG may have been a factor in that, but I don't think that's much of a deal. That's a different story. But the Knicks also lost to the Indiana Pacers today.
Yeah.
And two reasons why is those two players were not in the lineup, so they had to play pairs that they normally don't play. And Tom Thibodeau usually plays guys a lot, like how Nick Nurse used to do with the Raptors.
Yeah.
So in that reason, the initial reaction of the trade, I think the Raptors won because they got two pieces that are probably going to go into their starting lineup. Immanuel quickly, I'm not saying he's Tyrese Maxey, but could have that opportunity to potentially showcase something. I'm not saying they're the same play style. I'm not saying that because they're both energetic Kentucky players or anything like that. I'm just saying that because Immanuel quickly, who needed a contract, should probably get one for the Raptors. The Raptors could assess this year. If they need to, they could flip him later. Who knows? RJ Barret comes home. Now, the problem with that is coming home, you could get comfortable, or you want to showcase like, oh shit, I'm home. I need to showcase for my fans. Right? There's two different sides.
Yeah, you could feel the pressure, or you could just be like, it's my time type thing, right? And on the quickly side, it's more of like a 2-for-1 because Malachi Flynn barely played, right? And Precious does come off the bench.
Yeah.
And he has performed well off the bench. So
inconsistent, that's all.
But yeah, that is true as well. But I think Precious is a good piece for the Knicks just because of
we'll talk about the Knicks in a
good
second.
backup big for that. Yeah. But to wrap up the Raptors side, like you got two people that are bona fide gonna be in your rotation for one bona fide player that you had, right? So that right there, like you said, mentioned before, is
on an expiring contract.
2-for-1 deal. Yeah.
On an expiring contract. Immanuel quickly has showcased what he has showcased so far. 6 Man of the Year candidacy. I think he was a finalist last year. RJ Barret, yes, inconsistent. We'll see what happens with that.
But
that's the it factor. If he
that's the development side,
because
right?
But people forget. Hey, yeah, he's 23 years old, but he was a 3rd overall pick. He was the high school #1 consensus pick before Zion went crazy at Duke, right? Before that Duke brotherhood came together. So RJ Barret can still go berserk if he needs to.
He's 23.
He has potential.
This is not RJ Barret. He has nowhere. He's still 3-4 years away from his prime, right? Like this is not the RJ Barret we're gonna see.
I guess it's the
this is not gonna be his career trajectory. Obviously, right now, yeah, it's concerning just because all he does is dribble left and
the contract
hit or miss on threes, and he got paid because of the contract because he had one hit year.
Yeah,
and but he could develop still. Like this is not who RJ Barret is, 100% guaranteed. He can be. I'm not saying this can be RJ Barret, but he's 23 and he could still develop.
RJ gets talked about because he's the hometown guy, home country guy coming back. But on the flip side, though, I think the main piece is that return piece out of the two is Immanuel quickly. Question is, how is he gonna take off in this role, right? Because he was looking for a lot of money, 20+ mil for sure. Obviously, with how the inflation rates are going in the NBA. But yeah, so ultimately, I think they won that trade initially. We have to wait and see how much it goes, because on the Knicks side of things, let's talk about them.
And one last thing, you have to also wait and see on the contracts if they sign or re-sign.
Yeah, that's
the thing too. Yeah.
Well, RJ's already locked up. It's just it's
so quickly and OG.
Quickly, well, probably it's restricted at the end of the day.
And OG and as well.
So speaking of OG, that's where I was gonna lead up to. The Knicks could win this trade if OG signs an extension. If they lose the trade, if he doesn't sign an extension. Then at this point, because a lot of people are scared, because it reminds me of the Sabonis for Halliburton, whatever that trade package was. At the end of the day, you gave up on a guy on Tyrese Halliburton. As good as that was a win-win trade, don't get me wrong. You look at Halliburton now when he got the opportunity. That's what probably Raptors fans are hoping with quickly. I'm not saying they're the exact player. They're not similar players at all. I'm saying that's the vibe of the trade, because next thing you know, OG is good, but then IQ goes insane.
Yeah.
Right. So that's where the Knicks fans are like, why are we getting rid of a high potential player of what he has shown?
Yeah, that's true.
But let's just talk about the fits. All three players. Number one, OG Anunoby, the best player in this draft at the end of the day.
Trade.
Trade. Yeah, it fits. The fit's there. The problem with the Knicks is you lose your 6th man in Immanuel quickly. You don't have that spark plug off the bench. As good as Quentin Grimes has been, he's more of a catch and shoot guy, as Kevin Durant labeled it last week. Like, why are we letting this guy do this, right?
Yeah.
But the fit wise though, beautiful fit. 3-and-D. He's been healthier, but yeah, you guys sometimes question mark with OG's health. But your starting lineup is now Jalen Brunson,
Josh Hart.
No, it was someone else that was starting. It was Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, Isaiah Hartenstein. I'll double check the shooting guard. It was someone else. Dante DiVincenzo.
Okay.
It was Dante DiVincenzo when I checked the last lineup at least. And then OG fits like a glove there because RJ, the problem with RJ is, and we'll talk about the Raptors as a whole, what they're going to do in the future in terms of the fit, is RJ isn't a knockdown shooter. OG is a knockdown shooter, right? OG could defend better than RJ.
Yeah, the thing with OG is, yes, he still has to be more consistent, but I would label him as a better shooter than RJ Barrett.
Yeah, for sure. And then on top of that, like he could get his own when he okay. RJ's slightly better than that, but the problem is the spacing, right? RJ has like Mitchell Robinson who's out for the year now, and now is Isaiah Hartenstein there. Julius Randle isn't like some great floor spacer. I know he could knock him down. Obviously, Jalen Brunson's your point guard,
but now you have
Jalen Brunson, how good has he been? In our opinion, probably an all-star this year.
Yes,
can penetrate, drive, and kick out to OG more so than
and
OG's role in the Raptors.
You have Brunson who could shoot. You have DiVincenzo who could shoot. And now OG is added to that list as well.
And it's not even just
upgrade shooting wise over RJ.
And it's Tom Thibodeau's style, right? The defensive style. And
Live by the
is
three.
OG is arguably one of the best. Like he's probably a top 5 wing defender in the league.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like on top of my current day, obviously. I don't know if he did he get all NBA last year? All defensive NBA, sorry. All defensive team.
Maybe.
I think he got second team if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But that means he's labeled as one. He's always been labeled as one. I'm not an advanced metric guy, but I'm sure the advanced.
But he always guards the best guys, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're watching Raptors.
And on that team, like think about it, as good like on that starting lineup, he will be the best defender.
Yes.
So he will get the assignment of guarding Jason Tatum, which he had of the Raptors, obviously, but he will get that assignment. And he could guard 1 through 5. Obviously, he's better on the wing, on perimeter. But he can hold his own against a guy like Joel Embiid. I'm not saying he's gonna make Joel Embiid go 0 for 10 or anything like that.
Yeah.
But he'll hold his own on possessions, stuff like that, right? So fit there, it fit like a glove. The question is, for the Knicks, is their depth, and this is where Precious Achiuwa comes in. I think that fit is just mainly also because he's also an RFA, and so is Malachi Flynn. Precious Achiuwa, his thing is that Mitchell Robinson's out for the year. They don't really have a backup big, really.
And I think that fit is good. Precious been playing pretty decent this year, in my opinion, from what I've seen. I think the backup big, he'll fill in that role beautifully for the Knicks. I do believe that.
I was gonna pull up the roster.
Malachi Flynn's story is this. He doesn't really get much of an opportunity in Toronto, right? Nick Nurse did not play him much. And obviously this year, he hasn't really excelled when he got the opportunities. Obviously, he had the odd game or two. But let's see if he gets more of a chance in Knicks. But also saying Thibodeau is kind of like Nick Nurse, where he only plays his select
here's the
few.
thing, right? He fits that mold of that defense. He is a good defender, perimeter defender, right? He's a pesky guy.
He's pesky.
He can shoot it. He can create the shot or whatever the case is. But we thought the same thing with Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish went to the Knicks. He could defend pretty well, but he never got the opportunity. The question is, are you going to win his trust? And honestly, with Malachi Flynn, it's going to be tough. I don't think he has to, like, if he plays a 1 or 2 game and he balls out, then he'll get the trust. If not, I won't be surprised if it's like Cam Reddish where he sits out for the rest.
It's his like last opportunity, because if he does get one with the Knicks and he doesn't ball out, he's benched.
I don't think it's his last opportunity. I think he'll
like I'm talking about for the Knicks type of thing.
Oh yeah, like
he's gonna have like a one and done.
I think he's
gonna have a one and done. Thing, right? If he gets his, whenever he gets it, if he balls out, he'll start playing some more. But if he doesn't, he's benched for the rest of the year.
Yeah, that's for sure. Like I see that. I could see him getting an opportunity other teams, like the.
Oh yeah, no, that's a different story.
For example, the Washington Wizards. Like,
that's a different story. We're talking like next year. Next, that's gonna be Malachi Flynn's story for the Knicks for this season.
So overall, Knicks starting lineup, like I already said it. Then you have like Josh Hart off the bench, Quentin Grimes. From what I'm seeing, problem is who's your spark plug off the bench. If they don't do anything else, which I doubt. Let's talk about now. Let's flip over to the future side of things here, which I doubt, because I think their reports are they'll be doing more. Obviously Donovan Mitchell's heavily linked there because he wants to play for the Knicks. They still have the picks? They still have a contract filler in Evan Fournier. Can they throw in not Jericho Sims, but Quentin Grimes, even a Jericho Sims, to get him? Sure, but Cleveland is playing well, so it's tough to do. But the name that I'm thinking of is Jordan Clarkson, because he's he's had that role of six man. He won six man of the year with Utah.
Yeah.
He's literally a bucket. So if you want a bucket off the bench, there you go. So you could package some stuff still. You get him off your bench, great, and then you add another piece to it. The question is, again, he win Thabe's trust in terms of defensively stuff, but that doesn't matter too much. As long as you're coming off the bench, you're just a bucket, you're fine, right? Just go out there, give the effort. I'm sure Tom Thibodeau will help develop some skills or make him hustle because it is Tom Thibodeau, and he will bench a guy. Literally, he'll bench a guy, right? So like I'm looking at names like that for the Knicks.
That's a perfect spark plug.
Like if you want a spark plug, that's one.
Obviously, the big dog is Donovan Mitchell.
Big dog is Donovan Mitchell, but I think it'll be tough to do.
Especially in season.
But I won't be surprised if like Donovan says to the Cavs like, hey, I ain't coming back. So either you make one last run with me or I'm telling you right now to trade me. So then it depends on what they decide to do. They got injuries of their own. Evan Mobley is one of them. I'm not sure if he's back yet. I think Darius Garland has been up and down. Struggling with injuries though. But yeah, so like that's the Knicks side of things. Just to see like, like what other people, we'll see what happens. Just because I'm not looking much on who's available at the moment because this is the first trade. So
yeah.
Going back to the Raptors though, what does it mean for them? Well, they got to figure out the spacing and stuff because now as good Jakob Poeltl is at rebounding, the fit ain't there because you're probably running point OG or point Scotty. Quickly will fit his, like they'll fit well in my opinion.
Yeah.
RJ, the thing with RJ is he'll get his own shot, and when he's hot, RJ is hot. When he's not, then he struggles, obviously. But the spacing again is gonna be a problem from RJ if you're running a lineup of, and we'll get to Pascal in a second. If you're running the lineup of Point Scotty, Immanuel quickly, RJ, Siakam, and Poeltl, that just doesn't look well for RJ unless he's knocking down shots. Obviously, I think the main lineup will be you take up Poeltl and you sub in a guy like either Otto Porter, but most likely Gary Trent Jr. That's gonna be the fit issue there, right? That was his trouble with the Knicks. Now the Knicks look better fit wise. That's the RJ side of things. Quickly, let's see what he does.
He fits, man. He quickly fits.
He'll fit. You have an Energizer bunny.
This is the thing with quickly. He's averaged 15 points. He's shot 45%, which is decent this year. 39.5 from three. That's very good, right?
And his starter numbers were insane.
Yeah.
Like when he starts games.
I have no issues with quickly's fit. Barrett's fit, yeah, like you mentioned before, there is going to be a little issue there. But if you're progressing forward on the Raptors side, you got to see the Siakam trade, right? Is Pascal Siakam available? Is he going to get extended?
So Woj said that there are his name is out there. Let's put it out there, but there's nothing has brewed from it or whatever the case may be. And I obviously you agree now that okay, trade Pascal. There's no point
100%.
Because the reason why it's trade Pascal now, it's like either you still haven't. We're assuming your direction is gonna be you're picking a rebuild / quick like retool type thing depending how players progress. Because if you're not, then it just feel like okay, I get it. You guys needed a change. The team wasn't playing well. There was a lot of struggling. You weren't literally watching games as well because you're like it's boring. Let me just put an NFL game on or whatever the case may be. So yes, there is a change. Don't get me wrong, but how much of a change is it going to be in the positive factor? Yeah, I think they might push a little bit for a play-in spot. Great, but is that really your end goal? So for me, there was two things I looked at NBA Twitter. Raptor Twitter think they will extend him. I'm thinking they're not. I'm thinking they will trade him. And for that reason, like I said, the timeline: Scotty's 22, RJ's 23, Quickly's 24, Gary Trent, someone you should re-sign, I think,
24.
and 24. Turning 25, right? So I think he still fits the timeline. He's a good 3-and-D type of guy. Jakob Poeltl, sure. Let's see how he.
You messed up.
I think you messed up there, but you messed up. I don't think it'll.
There's no thank, bro. You did.
I think that it'll be tough to trade him now. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they messed up with the Poeltl. 20 mil.
You gave out
for a guy you sub out right away because he doesn't fit Darko's system.
Yeah, so you traded him. A first for him. Sorry. So you have to try. I think you need to try to trade him, but again, it'll be tough. It is $20 million. He's still an underrated big. He fits like a team like the Warriors, in my opinion, who needed just a guy to rebound and play defense. Just literally what like Bogut and those guys did. Pachulia.
Yeah.
Siakam though, let's talk about him. I believe he'll get traded. Do you believe that, or do you believe he gets extended?
I believe he gets traded.
Okay, so teams off the bat on the top of my head while I search for more. There's the Atlanta Hawks are obviously there. They have their window right now. question is what's going to be the trade, because again, he is a free agent, so you could lose him for nothing. So you can't be too greedy either. There's no way you should be thinking this is a championship window for you guys.
Oh, 100%.
So that's number one. Number two team is the Golden State Warriors. You have contract failures, and I know you don't want him, but he's a Canadian, Andrew Wiggins. But they also have young guys like Kuminga, Moody, whoever. I know Trace Jackson Davis is doing well for them. I know I forget the first round pick. His name's too long for me to remember. But he's killing. I doubt they'll be in the trade piece, but he'll fit. Like the Warriors need to call the Raptors for Siakam.
Yeah, the Warriors fit for Siakam is good. I just don't know if they have enough to offer to entice the Raptors. Whereas
and then
teams like
team number 3, I'll finish it off.
OKC, are you about to say, right?
No, I was gonna go Indy first.
And Indy.
So Indiana, their literally coach said like, even if you get a pretty girl, it gets tiring when she can't defend, right? Like, that's the type of analogy he said when I read on Twitter. So it's the same thing. At least Pascal could defend better than anyone on their team probably at the moment, minus Miles Turner. But he is a rim protector though, so it's different. He'll fit. They're like a glove extend. Tyrese needs a running mate. Pascal's a good running mate. If they are going for the playoff push, they are in the playoff spot right now. They obviously went to the in-season tournament finals for a reason.
And they have pieces to offer, right?
Yeah.
They have a
Jarris Walker, Andrew Nembhard, whoever else is there, right?
Ben Mathurin if you need to throw in or something.
Yeah, I guess it depends because you guys probably want like a Jarris Walker back.
Yeah,
in terms of fit. Again, I don't know how Jarris Walker. I know he's doing good in the G League. He hasn't played much in the season, but that's a team. And the last one is the main one. If you want picks, especially, is OKC. And you could throw in a guy like Lou Dort if you want one of the Jalen Williams. I know they have a Pokuševski, but I don't know how much he'll fit your guys' thing.
He doesn't even play much.
And then I doubt. Obviously, Shea's untouchable. We know that. So Shea and Chet,
yeah,
and him and Pascal, they could be a crazy team this year. And we don't know what's happening with Giddey, but right now all we know is he's playing, so he still is there. I doubt you guys will trade for him without all the drama going on. And he'll fit. Pascal will fit there like a glove, in my opinion, as well. So, talk about that part about Siakam. Where would you like to see him the most? Who do you think will give you the best return? And will be willing to give a return as well.
Willing. Warriors and Hawks. I'm taking out for best returns. Is between Pacers and Thunder. The difference between Pacers and Thunder, I think Pacers offer more players. Whereas the Thunder are not going to offer many players.
I'll pull up the rosters.
Right? Because the Pacers could offer Jarris Walker. They could offer Ben Mathurin. They could offer Nembhard. Whereas the Thunder, I think they're going to be like more picks heavy.
And then you have a contract filler and like Buddy Hield. I think a Raptors trade, especially if it involves those two teams, is probably like a 3-team trader. Because what's the point of keeping Buddy Hield? He's like 31 now.
Yeah. But yeah, for the Thunder side, I don't think they have the players that I want personally are untouchable.
Also you could throw in like a Obi Toppin as well.
Yeah. On the Thunder case, their players other than like Shea, Chet, obviously they're untouchable. Giddey, obviously for reasons we don't want him. And then other than that, I think the picks are more valuable than the players that they have.
Because their picks are Houston Rockets, LA Clippers, and their own. Now, granted, they're not going to be high. Maybe Houston Rockets might go fall off and see what happens.
So it comes down to the thing where like I would rather trade for the younger players that kind of, are developing type of thing or like kind of in their development than picks, because like you said before, picks could be bust.
Yeah.
Especially with OKC's picks, they're not gonna be great picks. They're gonna be like late first.
Yeah, it depends. Like I trust your development system, but I don't know what has happened recently.
Recently hasn't been good.
But yeah,
drafting wise as well. Recently, obviously Grady Dick hasn't really shown anything. Malachi Flynn, we already seen what happened there, and then a couple other second rounders that already left the team, Delano Banton and all these guys. So if I were to pick a trade partner, I would probably pick Indiana.
Yeah, so like obviously, but if I'm the Warriors though, and I've seen Warriors fans.
But if I'm a team going after Siakam, Warriors.
It should be the Warriors.
Warriors should be
number one because you still have Steph Curry, I know he's been struggling of late, but he'll put the pressure off. Hopefully, Clay's been up and down obviously this year, but let's see. But like other teams, like I said, it could be Miami, even though they're playing well. That's a team you could try to go. Maybe even Orlando, but you have Banchero, so I doubt that works.
No, Orlando's not.
So I think it will be Miami. New York again.
Probably not.
But yeah, it's mainly Miami. From there, Atlanta, if they want to make a push, even though they're 12-19 themselves. this squad right here that's playing on the screen right now, Minnesota.
Yeah.
But I don't know how are they gonna go mega big though? That's the question.
I don't think. No,
I know you.
It's not a fit. I don't think it's a fit.
OKC, like I said, Sacktown could be still a decent spot with him and Sabonis, the 4-5.
Yeah, that could be a good one.
And Pelicans, not really, because you have Zion. And yeah, those are the main ones I see in Golden State.
Yeah, that's true.
So it
So
depends. Or
like,
Memphis, even if Memphis decides to go for a push, because Steven Adams is you could put the 4 or 5 of Jaren Jackson.
Yeah, you can do that too.
But
well.
yeah, but the main, like if I'm ranking it, I think OKC needs to push on this window now and go get him, and you still could offer him like a 3-year deal max, because Chet is still technically on his rookie deal for another 2 years maybe. And you could help and show Shea that like, hey, we're building around.
We're willing to win.
We're willing to do this.
We're willing to win.
Again, to my point when I said about them trading for Lauri Markkanen, OKC needs to give away those picks, because you ain't gonna keep all of them.
And you're gonna be good.
And you're gonna be good.
Like the timeline's not gonna fit. Like you're gonna be getting picks in the 20s, because at the end of the day, Shea and Chet are gonna be enough to take you to playoffs. Should be enough to take you to playoffs the way their careers are going so far every single year from now on. Yeah, I would say from now on. Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much our recap. We'll cap it there though. But one last question for you: are you gonna watch more Raptor games now, or try your best to watch more Raptor games now?
Well, I try to watch Raptors games.
No, but like now even more than normal.
Yeah. Well, obviously yes. Because before, like,
there's actually a change.
When I did have time, I'm like, oh, I'd rather watch Thursday Night Football or Monday Night Football or a Canucks game. But yeah, we're definitely gonna have to tune in.
Because like RJ, sure. You gotta see what he looks like.
We'll see. Monday could be a potential debut there.
Okay, last question. Next player to get traded in your opinion? Not from the Raptors versus Knicks. I'm just like in general. Is it Zach LaVine? Is it Pascal Siakam? Is it Lauri Markkanen? Who else? Like an impactful player.
If I were to take one,
like an impactful player.
I would think it'd be Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah.
But I think it's gonna take time, bro. I think the next one's gonna just be deadline. I don't think anything big like that's gonna happen.
I could see something before January, depending on how teams are doing. Right? Atlanta is a team that could.
When's the deadline? Like February, right?
Yeah, so I think it could be something in January.
I think the first trade's gonna start at like end of January.
Bobby Marks did say on shout out Blake Murphy on the Raptors show that like trades never usually happen in December. So this happened to be the first one. Like I said, after January 15, that little lift off will happen on all players. So
that's what end of January is when I anticipate
Atlanta to make a move. Yeah, because DeJounte's been out there linked to the Lakers.
That's probably
just
end of January. Yeah, so you anticipate DeJounte. I'll probably go Lauri Markkanen.
I anticipate DeJounte Pascal somehow 3-team trade amongst third. It could be Lauri Markkanen, but throw a third team in there. That's what I think. It could be OKC for all we know. But yeah, no, like I said, our reaction overall, if I were to give it the winner, my initial winner will be the Raptors. Obviously in hindsight, we got to see what the players are.
Now it's just wait and see.
Wait and see what happens in the free agency market.
What happens. We will find out in a year or two.
Not even this offseason.
No, we'll find out in the offseason. We'll find out next year, whatever happens, and see who got fleeced, who didn't, who won, who didn't.
Yeah, but like based on what we have seen from the NBA so far, how these players have performed, I will give the Raptors just a little bit of an edge, just because of the 2-for-1 situation.
It's not a little bit edge. The Raptors won.
The 2-for-1 edge.
The Raptors won.
We put a YouTube community poll out as well, so make sure you guys vote there.
Vote there, and also pin comment. Give us your thoughts down below. We'd love to hear from you guys.
And make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Like I said, the YouTube post is out, and we'll probably make a clip short out of this. So yeah, this should be our last video of the year unless something crazy happens. This comes out Sunday morning, so today.
It's our last video of the year, guys.
So Happy New Year's once again.
Happy New Year.
The third time that this time we're saying it. And we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.